When getting accepted ARCs, it's like the best feeling in the world. Hello everyone, it's Veronica and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a really fun one because I'm really excited to be doing this video for you guys and for everyone who is interested in doing NetGalley ARCs and joining NetGalley. For me, I have been a NetGalley user in around early June. This is a video beginner to beginner as to what I've learned through these past few months with NetGalley. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give this video a thumbs up and hit that red subscribe button for more content similar to this, as well as booktube content I post every week. So let's get started. An ARC or ARC means Advanced Reader's Copy. ARCs are something that I have been really excited about and I just discovered this year, 2020. It's something that I introduced into my life. It has really changed, my whole perspective towards books and as well as writing reviews. So when you first join NetGalley, some things that you should know is that you need to request ARCs from NetGalley, and it's a very in-depth process that everybody has to go through, including me, and just beginners to advanced NetGalley users. The first thing you should know is that you have to be either a reviewer, blogger, librarian, educator, bookseller, or journalist in order to sign up for NetGalley. So for instance, if you perhaps have a blog or a YouTube channel, or perhaps you're using social media as your review platform perhaps, I would suggest to go ahead and join NetGalley because you can really use your platform, whichever you use, to really explain and show the world, your followers, the different type of NetGalley ARCs. And one thing that you have to take into consideration when joining is that even if you have all of the requirements, you're a blogger or you're a video creator or social media influencer for book related content, you have to have a high viewership, follower, or subscriber count. When I first joined NetGalley, I actually didn't have a very high follow account. I actually joined when I had maybe 40 followers on my blog, and I actually just started my YouTube channel. Getting ARCs for me especially was a little bit difficult. However, I really didn't mind just because I knew that it was something that I was growing, something that, I was still working on. Perhaps you want to request NetGalley ARCs and you also just recently started your blog or perhaps your YouTube channel. Perhaps you can definitely consider joining NetGalley because I, for sure, did not have a high viewer count, follower, or subscriber count at all when I first joined NetGalley. Even being on social media, I do not know for sure as I don't post my reviews on Instagram or Twitter or any other social media, but I'm sure that if you perhaps have a high Instagram follower count, then perhaps you can join too, but that is something that I actually do not know at all and definitely something that I will look into. However, I don't actually post my reviews on Instagram. Another thing that you really have to take into consideration when joining NetGalley is the feedback percentage. That is something that I'm still trying to do myself. It's super difficult, especially when you're, constantly requesting for ARCs or, you're a slow reader or slow reviewer, and it's really difficult. You need a percentage of 80. Publishers might see that, oh, she has 80% feedback percentage, and you might get more ARCs through that. I, however, have 60, and it's not great, but I'm still working on it. It's actually really difficult, but that is something you have to take into consideration. You really have to understand that when joining NetGalley, it's not something where you receive an ARC and you get to wait maybe a year or however long to really read it. I suggest, and this is something that I wish I really took into consideration when getting ARCs, is that you should request slowly, not abundantly. You're requesting so many ARCs and then you take a long time to read this. I have a lot of accepted ARCs waiting to be read and I still haven't gone to it. I will get to it soon, hopefully. I suggest when you're first starting out, request maybe 1 or 2 or 5, but don't request too much, or else you'll find that your feedback given versus feedback need to be done ratio is quite different, and that is something that I have seen with my account. That is something you should take into consideration when joining NetGalley, is that you really have to find a balance between what you're able to read and what you can't handle. I, for one, wish I took my own advice sooner, but it's too late for me. Now I want to talk about feedback. Feedback is something that is really important when just starting out on NetGalley or you are thinking about joining NetGalley. Feedback basically just means reviews. Whenever you request an ARC, you have to give a feedback review on the NetGalley website itself after you've read the book. This is something that I'm actually quite okay with just because I fully type out my reviews on a separate document and then I basically copy and paste it wherever I'm posting it, whether it's Goodreads, my own blog, or if it's on the NetGalley website. And this is something that I suggest you doing, whether it's on Apple Notes or any form of note taking, wherever you write your notes. I suggest doing that for each and every ARC you receive just because it's easier to handle. You won't lose your work or your reviews. And if you are thinking of cross-posting it to different platforms, like obviously you have to post it on NetGalley, and perhaps you want to post on Instagram or your own blog, or perhaps you want a summary review when you're talking about it on your YouTube channel. That is something that I hope you guys consider because it really made my life easier just typing it out, finding what I want to write, what I want to publish onto my feedback review section for NetGalley, and basically what I want to put on my blog or Goodreads. By putting your review on NetGalley, it assures publishers that you are a consistent reviewer. That way your feedback percentage goes up and you're able to receive more ARCs in the future, and it's just easier for publishers to see that you're honest in your reviews, you are able to write in-depth reviews without giving any spoilers or any such thing on your own reviews. And the one thing I want to note is publishers. In NetGalley, you can browse titles by going onto the certain publishers that you want to read more. So, for example, Algonquin Young Readers or Harlequin or Penguin Publishing. Basically, a lot of publishers are on NetGalley and you can browse through there. The one thing that I suggest is there's always a browse through requirements for those publishers, and that's where you can find what perhaps the feedback percentage they want you to have in order to really get accepted for those ARCs that maybe you're interested in, or perhaps your follower count on the certain review platform you post your reviews on. In general, the browse through requirements section is probably your most important thing, especially starting out. You want to be able to make sure that you hit those requirements, or at least near those requirements, for you to be able to have a higher chance in receiving those ARCs. I find that section really helpful, especially when I see a really great synopsis and then all of a sudden I find I don't hit like 5 of the targets, or I'm nowhere near the targets. That being said, even if they ask you to have a 500 plus follower count on any sort of platform, sometimes I do get accepted those ARCs from those publishers. So don't lose hope entirely. My next point is ARCs in general. Being accepted ARCs and being declined ARCs. That is something that I want to talk about because, I want to firsthand say sometimes it really gets me down where I don't get this one ARC that I've been really looking forward to. However, that doesn't mean that I'll never be able to read it. These are just ARCs. They're being published soon, or maybe already being published. I've actually been declined many ARCs, so don't lose hope. It's not the end of the world. Sometimes I think that, oh my gosh, I wish I got that ARC and I got declined. But when getting accepted ARCs, it's like the best feeling in the world. I've gotten some ARCs where I've been just really looking forward to it, and I got accepted it, and it makes my day sometimes because then I'm able to read what I've been really looking forward to. This comes to my next point as to requesting the ARCs that you want to read. It is really important that you read the synopsis of the book that you see on NetGalley and are interested. You want to be interested in reading it, and you want to be interested in writing a review for it because it's mandatory in writing reviews, especially when joining NetGalley. For me, I've always requested ARCs that I really want to read. This is important because you don't want to read a review that you've just requested and you got accepted for and you're like on, because trust me guys, you always have to read the ARCs that you are accepted in. This is important because you want to give the most honest review you can write. I have written reviews for arcs where I felt really bad just because I read the synopsis and requested it because I was really interested in it, but then I was disappointed when reading it. This happens, and trust me, you don't want to be disappointed when initially requesting that arc, because you yourself have to read the synopsis and say, I would love to read this. It's something that I feel like is really important. It's really important to get something you are very much interested in. Get your favorite genre, get your favorite publisher, but always read the synopsis first. And I just want to mention that the cover you see on NetGalley, when you get accepted, sometimes it doesn't even show on your Kindle, which is the main platform you use to read your arcs. There is also the NetGalley app that recently came out, maybe August-ish, I don't really know when, but you can also read your arcs through there, which is really nice. I like to have my own copy just because NetGalley does use internet, and I would sometimes read it on the bus or sometimes, on a plane. Obviously not doing that anytime soon, but I thought that was a great example for non-internet areas. So now comes to the point as to what my year with NetGalley looked like. And as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I started this beginning of June. I feel like maybe late May, early June. I have been honestly very thankful that I really joined NetGalley then, because first off, I want to say that I've just been so lucky getting these arcs. I just want to say it's been such a fun time. I've been actually able to discover new authors that I would never have otherwise discovered, and I've been really lucky to do that. NetGalley is actually a fantastic platform for, reviewing arcs and even just finding and discovering new authors. I'm really glad I joined NetGalley because I finally have been able to broaden my horizons in terms of authors. Next, I want to also mention that ever since I picked my blog back up this year, I created my blog in 2018. I joined NetGalley, and NetGalley really picked up the pace with my blog, and this is because I started posting my reviews on my blog. Not only did I gain more followers on my blog and my social media, and I started my YouTube channel, it's just been great. So not only can you really broaden your genres that you're reading, the authors that you discover, it has really helped me broaden my sources through social media platforms, and I've gained a lot of connections through the community. It's just been fabulous, and NetGalley has really truly helped me grow my social media platforms. I have a few reading vlogs where I talk about NetGalley arcs, and there are a lot of different ways you can review your NetGalley arcs. Truly, my year with NetGalley has really been amazing. Also, it's taught me a lot about how I wrote reviews in the past. The other thing I want to mention when, joining NetGalley is your biography, your bio, that on NetGalley itself, and what you should add. First off, like I said, the browse through requirements is very important. People want to see how long you've been on the social media platform, around how many followers you have, if you've gotten noticed by authors when putting, when advertising your review or your blog or other stuff. And your bio is very important, and it's not just your Instagram profile or your Twitter profile. Your NetGalley bio page is pretty important too, because not only are they going to see where your main review platform is, publishers see that page, and it's something that you want to make really detailed with the content you want everybody to see, especially publishers. So that is something that I am still developing. I'm still gaining more viewership and gaining more experience. For me, throughout the few months I've been with NetGalley, I've been, increasing that and making better of my biography for NetGalley. Your first initial introduction to these publishers as to why you want to request your arcs is most important. If you do consider joining, or perhaps maybe this gave you a little insight, I really do hope you guys comment down below. Perhaps you're thinking about joining NetGalley, because trust me, getting arcs is so much fun. Reviewing them is so much fun. Just reading books like arcs is just a fantastic time. I've always been so excited about ARCs, and it just makes my day when I'm able to read ARCs. You know, I feel special whenever I read ARCs. It's exciting to be able to read ARCs that are coming out in 2021, and then it's like June, and it's so exciting. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do hope you guys learned a few things when thinking about joining NetGalley, or perhaps you've joined NetGalley and you were a little lost. So please do comment down below. If you thought about joining NetGalley, what are your concerns? I, as a beginner, am here to help you out. Perhaps I didn't mention a few things, and if you're thinking about, asking me a few questions, comment that down below and I will be happy to answer that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please give this a thumbs up and hit that red subscribe button down below for more booktube related content. I would love to answer your questions about NetGalley. If you guys are interested in watching more booktube content like this, hit that red subscribe button. I would love if you guys do so, and I will see you guys next week for more booktube content. Bye!